Welcome to Talk About Nerds, a bi-weekly Always Geeky podcast about all things nerd. My name is Sindre, and with me I have Åvar and my younger edition, Kenneth. This podcast is a product of Nords and Nerds, a media group where we stream D&D on Monday, Magic the Gathering on Tuesdays, and Warhammer on Wednesdays every week. Today's episode is sponsored by Victory Point, your local hobby store in Bryne, Norway. Victory Point has a large gaming area where the communities and in-store play are the number one priority.
Victory Point, the starting point of your victories.
Okay, we are back with a podcast again.
Yes, sir.
Again? What you mean?
We used to have a different podcast. Now we have a new one with a new name and a new cast member, Åvar.
Hello.
Yes, sir. We had a podcast going for a little while with a lot of changes. We can say it was our practice podcast.
Basically, yeah.
It was the building block of this podcast.
Yes, sir.
Talk about nerds.
We started in Norwegian. We started with just me and you.
And I had guests, and then we got a new member to our group. We were 3 people. Then we had guests
Benjamin.
with 3 people. Then we stopped with guests. Then we changed our format. Then we changed what we talked about. So we're just having a lot of time trying out what worked and what didn't work. And really, we started on a way because we thought that was how we were supposed to do it. But then we changed it up to be what it is now. That is what we want to talk about, what we're passionate about, what we like.
And also the stream media group, Nords and Nerds, which is a new name for our community, has also changed a lot since our first episode of the podcast, which just means that everything changed and the podcast changed with it. And also this is Åvar's first podcast. We didn't even invite him as a guest.
Yes, hello. I have replaced Benjamin. I'm really happy to be here, actually. I'm excited.
We were happy to have you with us.
Thank you.
It's like the boy with the golden voice. We cannot not have him with us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. It's also a shocking difference for everyone watching on YouTube because you're twice the size of Benjamin.
I'm probably like 20, 30 centimeters taller than he is. Yeah, so it's a little bit of a difference.
Indeed.
But I'm equally as wide, so...
There's a reason the smallest mic stand is on your side.
God damn it.
Because we had the smallest mic stand there because Benjamin was... Like, the mic stand was too big that it was covering too much of his face. So...
I get it. It's fine.
But yeah, what's this podcast about, guys?
It's about everything geeky, everything nerdy, about movies, TV shows, board games, Warhammer, D&D, everything that we find interesting.
Yeah.
Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, Magic the Gathering.
I forgot his big thing.
But we do have experts in every field, essentially. We have a fantastic GM from Dungeons and Dragons.
Has his own D&D show every Tuesday on Twitch.
Yeah.
Destiny by Dice.
Destiny by Dice, yeah.
And on Tuesdays, you said?
No, on Mondays.
Yeah, on Mondays.
And
on Mondays,
you're not allowed to introduce yourself. So we also have a magic connoisseur over in the corner right here, playing Magic Commander primarily.
Mostly that, yes. I do occasionally draft, but but I prefer Commander.
Commander's your expertise.
But I've played for 12, 15 years now.
Yeah.
So I have some expertise. I'm not good at it. I play a lot of Magic, but I'm not good at it.
I think I can say for certain that there's not a lot of people in this world that's better at late game Magic than you are. At least if you intertwine it with political magic. Magic and late game Magic, that's your forte.
I would agree with that, yes.
So early game Magic Åvar, that's like a new guy starting out Magic. It's the same level, but when it comes to late game political, it's like, no match.
If you want to see early game Magic, actually, I think this or next week we will have a 2.5 minute long video coming out on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
Of Magic the Gathering. That was atrocious to watch, and I skipped it because I didn't pay attention.
Exactly. You blink for a moment and the game is over.
Yeah, I wasn't there for that one, which explains why it happened so fast.
Yeah.
We also have our in-house second best Warhammer player.
Second best.
I used to be the best. But he
used to be the best cheater.
I used to be the best cheater as well. No, but I used to be the best Warhammer player in the group. And we stream every Wednesday on Nords and Nerds. mainly because I'm the most experienced and the most competitive. But then we managed to actually snatch up a guy named Patrick to join us on our Warhammer team, and that's a massive catch because he's the assistant captain of the world team champion for Norway. Norway's assistant captain for the world team championship. So he's one of the most experienced, competitive, brilliant guys in Warhammer.
Yeah. He's a nice guy. I've talked to him.
He's
a couple
really,
of times.
really nice. He's a darling.
Yes.
But I cannot even get close to his level of play. So I'm pretty good, and I do well for myself in Warhammer games, but not even close to Patrick's level. So I still look at myself as a good player, but not nearly close to his level.
But it's only a question of experience.
Exactly. Give me 5 years, I'll get to
5 years, no.
to his level.
You're always in the store, man.
Yeah,
you have the opportunity.
Yeah, you should
the
play.
Time.
You should play like 3 to 5 times a week. So I get
for everyone who's following Warhammer, that's Patrick John Woods.
Yeah. Amazing guy.
Yeah, and that's the stream on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Also out on YouTube, Nords and Nerds.
Yeah, so he's there on average every third or fourth week playing.
Basically every second, but it's like.
But he's not playing every second.
No.
More like every third playing.
1.5 time each month, I guess.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It'll also be covering the chat, so people can ask him questions while other people are playing if they want to.
Yeah, he's going down to. It might be a couple of weeks before he plays again now, because he's going down to a major tournament in Kristiansand, Norway. The biggest 40k tournament that's been in this country, and he has goals to win that. He's going down to win the tournament, and that's pretty good chance of winning as well. So it's gonna be fun. Seeing how he does.
He had his first stream just last week.
Yeah, I guess.
I believe. Yeah,
I was a close one though. It was, I think it was a 1-point victory to Patrick over me. So it was nail biting. That was fun.
Nerve-wracking.
But so this is our first ever podcast.
Yep.
With for this podcast, we're
With a
doing
new setup.
episode 1 of Talk About Nerds.
Talk about nerds.
Talk about nerds.
So I think it's a good thing to sort of introduce ourselves and each other.
Yeah.
Our sort of history with geekdom and nerddom. I think we should start with the shortest tale, Kenneth.
Yeah, my tale. We talked a bit about us being with Nords and Nerds and everything we do on stream, so I'm not going to go into that more. I'm a co-owner of Victory Point, our main sponsor. It's a board game and hobby store in Britain, Norway. My experience with board games and tabletop games are not massive from before opening the store. But after opening the store, the tabletop part of my nerddom came and have grown to be big.
Only by exposure alone, you're catching up, though.
Yeah.
You're here every day.
And I
almost.
participate in everything, so I like everything. Only thing that I'm not too much into in tabletop-wise is role-playing games. But before that as well, I've been playing computer games my whole life. I've been competing in computer games. I played semi-professional Smite for a while.
Really?
Yeah. So I've gamed a lot all my life and watched a lot of movies and stuff. And Sindre and my other brother, who I own the shop with, has forced me to play board games my whole life. So.
And now you enjoy it. You know you do.
I do.
We tried really hard to get him to play some fun games. We usually ended up playing some of them.
Yeah.
Some of them we gave up.
Yeah.
And now you've probably played most of those games as well.
Yeah. I've become more and more. But yeah.
Yeah.
So I've always been I've always been like the kind of sporty jock kind of person, but I've always enjoyed playing games, always enjoyed nerdy stuff. Always been part nerd, part sporty guy, but the nerdy side is taking more and more over. So I'm almost a full-time nerd now.
Decidedly, you are the most non-nerdy of the three of us, I suspect, yes.
Sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, I can just take over from there, as I am your nerdier, older edition.
Yes, sir.
Well,
I'm soon taking over the nerdier part.
Yeah.
Give me a couple months.
No. Anyway, I started my sort of foray into geekdom and nerddom very early with Warcraft 2. That was sort of my big starting point for fantasy and nerdom.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
ever since, I've played hundreds of games, seen hundreds of TV shows, movies, played tons of board games.
So seeing as you're saying Warcraft 2, that's probably my start into gaming when you got me to play Warcraft 3.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many hours, but me, you, and our group of friends, because me and he had pretty much the same group of friends growing up. Or at least the nerdy group we shared.
Yeah.
And we, Sindre had the cellar basement or whatever in our house. He had a big room there, and we had like my computer was there, his computer was there, his girlfriend's computer was there, and everyone just brought their computers, and like almost every day basically we played Warcraft 3 custom games in that basement.
Yeah, it was basically an open house LAN party every day.
I think
that sounds sweet.
we can easily. I think there's no joke if we're saying we have over 15,000 hours with Warcraft 3 custom games.
There's no doubt really that we played Warcraft 3 for thousands of hours, and we played a shit ton of different kind of custom games. I also played a little bit of ranked, but you probably never played much of that.
No, there was
ladder.
There was a off game ladder for like Wintermall Wars and stuff like that I competed in, but never the regular
real-time strategy.
No.
Later, I started getting into books, started reading a lot of books, and also started making my own sort of stories, writing my own small fantasy novels. And that kept me going into D&D. Started trying to recruit all my friends for Dungeons & Dragons.
The GM emerges.
I actually found one of my earliest posts on Facebook being that we're going to be playing D&D. Do anyone want to join? I think 2 people joined. We actually managed to get a game with 4 people, I think 4 or 5 people. And ever since, I've been trying to get people to play D&D. I eventually started working as a developer with a lot of geeky people, and I have since been a DM every week. So that's been, 3 years now? I've been a DM almost every week.
And now you do it on a stream.
Yeah, and now I do it every week on a stream.
And you also started an D&D group, organization, club, call it what you want. Basically playing a rollespel.
D&D organization that plays here at Victory Point every week, which is also pretty cool. I don't have enough time to manage that properly anymore, but it's
so basically just to put that into perspective, you've taken basically about 15 to 25 people who didn't have people to play with and got them together and started playing.
Yeah.
So you've given a lot of people their entry into the nerdom that they wanted.
Yeah, it's more 21 people.
21 people.
Yeah. So it's fantastic. I'm so happy to be able to sort of give people a place to play D&D, because it's often really hard to get a group together. That's the hardest thing about playing D&D, is finding a DM, finding someone who's willing to sit down and take the time to make a game and to play it with you. And I've had so many sort of D&D groups that's been like 2 or 3 sessions, because everyone falls off really quickly.
Yeah, the typical problem with D&D is you end up with conflicting schedules. Yeah. So essentially, I can play on Monday, I can play on Tuesday. No, nothing works. Fuck it. It just disbands over time.
Yeah, and one of the usual reasons I hear when people say they play D&D but the groups split up is not setting a day or a set date when they play. It's just like we wing it. We see each week who can and who cannot, and we'll see if we can manage. So the like rookie mistake there is just like not setting one set date. Every other Tuesday we play, no matter what. And the ones who can, they show.
Yeah. So it's a really good thing, and also to have a place to play, because that's always a little bit hard when you're 7 people, needing a table, needing somewhere to sit, to have somewhere to play, and that always becomes a conflict if you don't have one friend with a good place to be, because people have families, they have wives, kids. So sort of occupying someone's house is often really hard. So that also helps us and the group have a steady place every week that we can play. And I've also heard from some of my players that they have started their own groups at home in addition to coming here. So I know it's sort of spreading, and that's just fantastic.
The cult is expanding. Excellent.
I've also had a lot of sort of board gaming growing up. Me and my brother Örjan, the other owner of this store, have been playing a lot of games, going to a lot of like conventions and board gaming groups in Sola when we grew up. I more recently started playing Warhammer and Magic the Gathering after this store opened up because I couldn't stay away eventually. Probably would have started earlier if it wasn't sort of like an upfront cost and having to pay for it, and due to the fact that I have a million other hobbies.
And knowing of people who do it. Like, you need to go.
Mm.
Like, it's hard to start with these analog hobbies if you don't know anyone who does it.
Yeah, that's one of the excellent points of Victory Point, actually, because it collects and like unifies the environment of nerdy things, essentially, in the Bryne or Jæren-området area, because before this, the only area was a place called Stavanger. But now you have people from the local area just flocking to Victory Point, which is fantastic because you meet new people, can play with new people. You get to play stuff you didn't play before, possibly D&D, Magic the Gathering, Warhammer, which Kenneth is actually an excellent example of.
There are so many places close to here that are sort of far away from Stavanger, even further away from here, which just sort of, they don't have anywhere to go unless they want to take a 40-minute train.
Yeah, I suffered from that particular problem for quite some time until you opened. Thank you very much.
No worries.
So,
We're here
Åvar,
for every nerds.
Yes, what?
how about you, baby?
What? No, I'm just a new guy. I'm not even part of the family, man.
Are you a nerd?
I am a nerd.
Fantastic.
Are you
Tell us
a
your
Nord?
history.
I started quite like most kids do, kind of. I started around 7 or 8. I started playing Heroes of Might and Magic, actually, and one of the first like proper games.
3?
2, actually. I dabbled in the first one, but it was a little bit janky at that point. I wasn't that old. I am, of course, very old, but that's a different discussion. But yeah, I started with Heroes of Might and Magic 2, 3, obviously, and started with mostly PC games, and then traveled on to books. Harry Potter came out, of course. I've read Wheel of Time and a little bit of Harry Dresden Files, a couple of other books. Fantastic animes, movies, TV series, and eventually rolled into D&D, because I played D&D before I played Magic the Gathering. Yes, I play both. I haven't yet gotten into Warhammer, but it's sneaking in on me, but mostly for the painting, actually.
Yeah. Well, you're pretty interested in the lore, though.
Yes, I love the lore. The lore is fantastic.
It is.
Grandpa Nurgle is the best.
Well, I'm not too big into the lore.
Yeah, you prefer the gameplay.
Yeah, I play.
But yeah, I'm a huge nerd. I have been since I was small, really. I haven't really started all of the heavy nerdy stuff until my teens, which is usually when you do that.
Yeah.
Before that, I was normal, parentheses or quotation marks, whatever you call it. But yeah,
what even is normal?
Nowadays, hard to define.
Well,
when I was young, play sports, read books, and watch TV. Shut the fuck up.
But I feel like more and more we go with the normal being the gamers, the nerdy stuff. That's the new normal. It's
fantastic that it's so normalized like it is now, because when I was young, if you played like a lot of PC games, when I was young in like, let's say 96.
1972.
Yes, 1972.
But it was the same when we were young.
Yeah.
The nerdy guys were like...
They were the strange kids,
yeah,
or like unusual kids. And people left me alone because of that.
The freaks.
But now, the freaks. But yeah, people left me alone because of that. But I had my friends, which I still do. And I've met new people. So the change in the community or the world of accepting, in lack of a better definition, is fantastic.
Yeah.
Because before it was a kind of a stigma. If you were a nerd, you were a nerd.
Yeah.
You dirty nerd. Talk about nerds. Now I'm a nerd.
Yeah, you have like huge TV shows like Stranger Things where they're playing D&D, and the entire subplot is based on a D&D monster.
But I don't even think it's that anymore. I don't think it is I'm a nerd, anything like that. Like, now it's just like being a nerd is not something you need to be. People just play games. People just do the things that we do as nerds.
Ye-
People do it without labeling it.
Yeah, but it's still a label. But the difference is you've gone from I'm a nerd, okay, to I'm a nerd. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it has gone there in our age group. But when I look at like a lot of my friends or that has kids or my friends who has a lot younger brothers and stuff, it's like, what do they do after school if they don't have sports practice or if they don't have that stuff? They go and play Magic. Go and play PC games. They gather friends and play games. That's the new normal. The cool kids have a big group of people who are into sports, people who are not into sports, and they're just playing games.
I have to point something out there. If your friends, if the children of your friends do nerdy stuff, their parents are nerdy. This is a circle. Nerdy parents usually make nerdy children.
True, but I don't think that there's such a big label at the younger groups anymore.
I do agree on
And
that.
that's a good thing. That's a
Yes,
fantastic
it's
thing.
a fantastic thing. But to be fair, also, PC gaming has become exceedingly normalized.
Yeah.
So, for example, competitive gaming is now a thing. It didn't exist really, like in mass media, in big media. Like Fortnite wasn't the thing.
No.
Competitive Counter-Strike wasn't a thing. Now it is, and it's fantastic. But it has been a change the last 20-ish years.
Yeah.
And it's good.
Well,
Fantastic.
But you do still see the occasional like nerdom like frowned upon in big media like movies and TV shows where the nerd is the weak one, the glasses wearing idiot.
there's a fun point about this actually, because with the thing you said that competitive gaming and stuff wasn't as big back then, or wasn't like a thing. When we grew up, there was a guy, I'm not necessarily gonna name names, but it was a guy from where I'm from, and that was not necessarily in my group of friends, but I knew really well who he was. He played a lot of Counter-Strike and was really, really, really good at it. But he didn't have a lot of friends, It wasn't like a popular kid, to say it like that. Now he actually plays competitive Counter-Strike as a job, and he plays for a team called Face Clan. And
I think I've heard that, yeah.
yeah, and from everyone who knows how to Google, you'll find out who I'm talking about. But the cool thing is now, every guy back in the day that's from our area that also knew this guy brags about knowing him. So it's like the kid you didn't care about because he was a nerdy guy and he's not part of a group. They're like, oh yeah, I knew him. I know him. I knew him from back in the day. He was a good friend. He's a cool dude. Everyone talking so positively about him just because he's good at the game.
Yeah, but that's not a nerd problem or like a geeky problem. That's just humans.
No,
because I grew up here in the local area, and I knew a guy that eventually ended up in the local professional football club. And a lot of the people I knew and went to school with this guy were like, hey, I knew him, I went to school with him. And I'm like, he's just a guy.
Exactly. But the cool thing about the story, what my point was, is that back in the day, people was looking at, that's nerdy, that's not cool, that's awful. And now that he's famous, it's like, yeah, he's cool. That's a cool thing he does. Gaming, yeah, that's awesome.
They changed like 190.
Yeah, so it's like
180.
people doesn't look at games and stuff at the same way now as it did before. And that's amazing.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So right now we are literally nerds talking about nerds.
Yeah.
Yes, talk about nerds.
Talk about nerds.
Talk about nerds.
Talking about things blowing up and things changing, or not things changing, not necessarily, but things blowing up, things getting big. Squid Games. That's the new hot big thing. Have either of you guys watched it?
I've seen the first and last episodes.
Which is really fucking weird, but okay.
Yep.
I have watched none of it, but I've watched media around it. So like animations, fan animations, stuff like that.
Because that just blew the F up. It got so freaking big. And I don't even feel like I need to do this, but it's a South Korean show about a group of people that needs to play kids games to survive.
Are you certain it's not North Korean? Premise alone.
Well, by the premise, you could maybe think it was, but it's it's in South Korea.
Actually not, because it's a very heavily capitalist setting.
Oh
True.
yeah, not communist, of course.
True. But the cool thing about Squid Games, I've seen it and I love it. I did a rookie mistake, which a lot of people will blast me for. I did a rookie mistake by starting to watch it not with English subs and South Korean speech, but with English dub.
So you're a filthy dubber.
Yeah. But after the third episode, even though the dub was actually pretty good, I went back, started watching episode 1 from scratch with just English sub, and South Korean speaking.
Yeah, I have to point out, just for podcast purposes, dubbing anime and TV series, completely fine. I don't care. I watch quite a lot of my animes in English because I'm doing something else at the same time.
Yeah. And that's my point as well. The reason I started watching it dubbed is because I like to do other stuff while I'm watching TV series. But I felt like this show I needed to watch with the original audio. And it was
I struggle with
lot
live
better.
action a little bit more than with animation.
Yeah.
Just because it looks off.
looks weird.
Yeah, it looks weird with the mouth moving, and it's like wrong.
But I heavily agree with the sort of being able to watch something and do something else, because I very often play games while watching shows, and you can't do that if you can't understand what they're saying without watching the screen.
But this was actually pretty good dubbing, but I had to watch it in the original audio, and it was extremely good. It was such a good series. But the cool thing about the whole show is how many games has come out of it. There's like 50 Roblox made a
Roblox, you mean?
Roblox, I mean, made a Squid Games game.
Yeah, they've done the same thing in Gary's mod, which is the Counter-Strike mod-based thing. They make a lot of stuff from that one, and Minecraft, and they've made TikToks, and god damn, they made a lot of shit from their way.
There's actually a Norwegian guy a YouTuber who actually makes games and makes YouTube videos making games. He also made a Squid game. I can't remember what it's called. But there's so much out there, and every big Twitch streamer, every big YouTuber is jumping on this, as they usually do. Like the Twitch streamers always, like especially the variety streamers there's out there. They always jump on the big trends to get viewers, of course. But it's just like blowing up, and it's so cool to see.
Yeah.
Especially if you've seen the series. It's amazing.
This is very cool, because it's a thing that's been happening to Netflix for quite a while now, that international shows have started blowing up more and more. And that's because they were sort of required to have 30% of the local sort of language shows in a lot of the areas they are in. And if they have to pay for it, why not show it to everyone?
True.
And so that gives you sort of French movies, Italian TV shows, South Korean TV shows.
I watched a couple of French movies on Netflix. Quite good.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I love the
bonjour.
You racist bastard. But yeah, I love to have the opportunity for variety, like Squid Game or French movies or whatever movies. Everything's good. All countries have some form of like top tier good stuff.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see some of them.
Yeah. And it also helps sort of put some money into the different countries' own sort of culture, which helps a lot, because, a lot of the TV shows out there are American or some British.
True.
But sort of like Norwegian ones, they're only sort of governmental supported.
They're all government supported, and this is the main reason why I don't watch that many Norwegian things, because it's mostly crime.
Yeah,
like criminal dramas of some sort, and I'm so bored by it.
But that's because the older generation, that's what they want to see on TV.
Oh yeah, I realize why.
And our generation doesn't watch TV. We don't watch traditional TV, which is why the government doesn't know what we want.
But the stuff that's made in Scandinavia, not only Norway, is hugely popular here.
Yeah.
And it's because the people that do watch TV like that shit.
Yeah.
Technically, the people making stuff for Norwegian and Scandinavian media are doing the right thing.
Of course they are.
But I think we're going to get some more variety just because of things like Netflix having to do a lot of Norwegian content. And if we don't watch crime on Netflix, then they want something else.
Yeah.
Because they want people to watch it, even though they don't really need the international content.
The algorithm
You have
sees
to have it.
everything.
Yeah. But that's kind of cool. And then we might get more like the TV show called Thor.
Oh, yeah. No,
I'm
was
not
it
sure.
Thor? Yeah, but I know the one. I've
Yeah.
seen it.
It's on in Northern mythology
Yeah, the kid
in a modern setting.
Yeah.
the kid who
Discovers super strength
Yeah.
and fights against...
I failed on that show.
you
'Cause
what? Fail?
I failed. I did a fail when I watched it.
Oh.
Because I watched it on Netflix and I started watching it, and it started with English dubs, and I actually didn't notice. I didn't notice that it was actually
In
Norwegian.
Norwegian.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I thought that I tried to change it to Norway, to Norwegian,
Mhm.
and that I couldn't. So I just watched the whole season
In English?
And then someone said to me, or when I said that I watched it, they asked me, "Did you watch it in Norwegian or English?" And I said English, and they just, "Why? You're Norwegian." And I'm like, "Is it in Norwegian? Do they actually talk Norwegian?"
Yep.
Damn, bro.
Was it any good? I haven't seen it myself, but
Good. I would give it. Like,
It's fairly nerdy in the sense that it focuses, kind of like Stranger Things, it focuses on the outcasts. And I have only seen the first season, but Loki is fantastic. He's very good, and the characters are mostly quite well played by young actors, to be fair.
Mhm.
But it's not the best show,
no.
No.
but it's quite good.
I would rate it as the story being actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But the actors are not good enough to get it across the
Mm.
screen too
Well,
well.
but it is the kind of content that we're looking for in Norwegian culture that
Yeah.
we've been missing so far.
At least us as nerds
Yeah,
would like more
definitely.
of
Yeah.
that stuff.
It's
Yeah, but I have to comment on that. Some of the actors in that series are quite good. Mostly, like Loki and Thor, they are quite good,
Yeah,
actually.
but-
But a lot of them are too inexperienced, too young, essentially, too young to really get across what they want to do.
That's exactly my point, and that's the problem with Norwegian TV, that we have so big of a gap between actors. We have a couple of few good ones, and then every show that's made and published by Norwegian
Media,
media,
whatever.
whatever, have so much like good actors and bad actors, and just groups that don't work together too well. So, like in the series, that series, I can't remember what it's called. Isn't it? No, not Yggdrasil.
No, wasn't it? No, it wasn't Thor. What was?
No, it wasn't Thor. But anyways, in that series, it's like Thor and Loki is really good, but
Yeah.
Thor's mother,
Yeah, Thor's mother is like she's a very known actress in Norway,
But
but
she's not
she
good.
doesn't do that role particularly
Not
well. And
in the slightest.
the protagonists of
Yeah.
that series, the Jotnar,
Yeah,
they are to be acting as Jotnar, quite good, I would say.
Yeah.
But they're a little bit over the top.
Yeah. So it's like
Valhall.
Valhalla. It's a good story. It could.
I'm gonna
Put that story into a Hollywood production.
Yeah, but with a Hollywood production, you get, well, essentially more expensive actors, more expensive CG, more expensive everything. So it's not really fair.
No, I know it's not fair, but put that show with the same story, with a Hollywood cast and a Hollywood director, it would be amazing.
There would be more explosions.
True.
That's why I'm saying it's so good that Netflix and streaming shows have to have Norwegian content, because that will put more money into Norwegian productions, give people more experience, give people more jobs in acting.
And showing essentially the big media, parentheses, big media companies in Norway, showing them that we want this. Can you please give us more?
Yeah.
Or something like it, which we don't have a lot of.
No. There's also a new show that I've loved to watch. I did love Squid Games, and I really want you to see it all. If you can find the time, and I recommend it to everyone out there. There's a new show also that has launched 3 episodes that me and Åvar has watched. I talked to about it earlier. I don't think you watched it, Sindre?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
Arcane, the new League of Legends TV animated show.
It's so good.
It's so good. Have you played League of Legends a lot?
I have actually played. I lived in England for a year, and I played a lot of League of Legends. I played. Wait for it. I played Teemo.
Oh, of
yeah,
course you were that.
disgusting. I know.
'Cause-
But yeah, it's just I did a little bit of animating in my younger days, and by the animation and drawing and painting alone, it's like, ooh,
Yeah.
that's so nice.
It's really, really good. On my side, I haven't played a lot of League of Legends at all. I've never played the character to the max level or anything. So I played a couple of times, just tried it and didn't like it. But I watched a lot of League of Legends esports. So I do know the game, and I do know some of the characters if they've been in meta and if they've been played on esports.
Mm.
So it's pretty fun watching that show and seeing if I could recognize the different guys. And I did all 6 that was in it. Because you had
You had
Jinx,
Dr.
V.
Heimerdinger, Jinx, Vi,
Åvar.
and who else?
You had Caitlyn, Jace.
Yeah, Jace. Yes.
Jace, and the girl he was with was Caitlyn.
Yeah, Caitlyn, the sniper lady.
Yeah,
yes,
and you also had Singed.
Yeah.
He was the
He was the
assistant.
assistant director, whatever the hell.
No,
it was.
assistant to the assistant bad guy, basically. Assistant to Silco.
Oh.
Yeah, to the Silco, the bad guy. His assistant was Singed.
Oh.
And you also
But
had
I thought he was. I didn't check anything afterwards, but I thought he might have been Dr. Mundo.
No, he was
Singed?
Silco
Okay.
was the bad guy, and then you had his assistant down in the lab. That was Singed.
Yeah, but you had one more actually, because the assistant, the guy who helps Jace eventually in
Yeah.
the series. I'm not going to reveal anything, but
Yeah,
he
Victor.
Victor.
Yeah.
He's actually a different character. I can't remember his name right now, but he's actually also a character.
Victor. Victor's the character in League.
Yeah.
It's called Victor, so that's he. That's him.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
No, wait, what?
I've played League of Legends
I'm
myself,
ta-
but I can't remember any of these names.
I'm talking about the director, the assistant director of. So Dr. Heimerdinger
Yeah.
His assistant.
Yeah.
is a
Who's-
character, and
Who's
that's
called
Victor.
Victor. And in League of Legends, we also have a
I
character
didn't know
called
his name
Victor.
was Victor.
Yeah.
As I said, I didn't remember his name.
At least I
Apologies.
believe so, if I'm not mistaken now.
I only remember how he looks.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's that guy. So that's
Yeah.
good. So that's
But
Victor.
At least, I binge watched it yesterday. It's so good.
Yeah.
If you like animation, Japanese, whatever, I don't care. Just for the animation alone,
Yeah. I'm
watch it.
not too big into animations, but I was browsing actually on Sunday. I was browsing Netflix, and that show came out on Saturday, I believe. And I was browsing Netflix on Sunday, and I just saw. Well, it came up on the top, and you have the show on the top that starts autoplaying and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and I usually just scroll past them. But I just caught the snippet of League of Legends. I was just, what? And I scrolled back up, and I was just like, okay, I'll watch this. And it was just like 3 episodes gone in what I felt was like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
and
same.
I loved it. You need to watch that, Sindre.
Yeah, I've seen it on Netflix when it's just sort of idling the top show
Yeah,
kind of thing. I've seen this all the time coming up, and I'm just,
Yeah.
when I get time, I'm so gonna watch it.
So Åvar needs to watch Squid Games, and you need to watch Arcane.
I actually have a free day tomorrow, so I'm gonna watch at least one episode of
Yeah.
Squid Games.
I started watching Squid Games. But I'm struggling with shows that I can't just listen to
Yeah.
because I always do something else when I watch shows.
Yep.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But then you can't watch it dubbed.
I know,
that-
but I
that's
really
where
want to
you
watch
watch
it
it
in the
dubbed.
original language.
Of course,
So
but
I'm gonna try doing that, but
Yeah.
we'll see. I might watch it dubbed. League of Legends, I'll guaranteed
yeah,
be watching.
you'll need to see that. It's
soon.
an amazing
There's
show.
a new episode every so often, so there
Three-
should be a
3
new one
episodes
Yeah.
every Saturday.
every Saturday.
Yeah.
Ooh, I can't.
So
wait
this
for
Saturday is coming out
Saturday.
3, and I believe the Saturday after is coming out 3, and I only believe there's 9 episodes this
Mm.
season. So it's only
My
2 Saturdays.
problem is I don't have that much time to watch shows, and the Wheel of Time is coming out soon.
True.
Oh yeah.
I think that will have to be my priority.
Yeah, I see that one.
True.
Everyone's
gonna
going to
watch
be
that
watching
one.
and talking about that show.
But that is also just coming out in batches. It's not everything at once. It's
3
one,
episodes will be released next Saturday,
and then it's one per
and
week.
then it's one per week
Yeah.
after.
God damn it! I
Yeah.
have so much to watch.
Yeah.
The
So you'll-
second episode is already done filming, I believe.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing.
So you'll
Possibly.
get time to watch Arcane after that.
So definitely our next podcast episode is going to be heavily
Heavily.
into the Wheel of Time.
Because you both of you have read the
Yeah.
books.
Yeah, it's my
Yeah.
favorite book series.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially after I was finished with Harry Potter, the series, I started Wheel of Time because one of my friend's brother had the first book and it's like, you should read this. And it's like, maybe. No, you should read this. Oh, okay. And I read the first one and it's heavy. It's a bit difficult to read the first one, but after that, oh my God,
Yeah.
it's fantastic.
It's a fantastic series, and it's, 14 books?
13?
13?
No, it's 4.
No, it's
Yeah, I
14
think it's
because they
14.
split the
Yeah,
last
yeah,
one into
split the
two.
last one, which was a very good decision.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't have worked in one book.
It's probably the book series I would have started reading if I read books.
Yeah.
You uncultured swine.
Yep. But it's a fantastic book series, and it's really long, and if you want to read it, go ahead. But the show's coming out, so
I'm definitely gonna watch it.
Yeah, you're going to watch the show, and we're going to talk about the differences between the show and the books and how
And
how
that's-
terribly they butcher the things we love.
Yes, of course, like always. And that's this Saturday?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Next Saturday, I think.
Yeah, so
Isn't it
the
this one?
upcoming
No,
Saturday.
it's actually on Friday the 19th, I think.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so it's next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Because this week is pre-release week, right? This
Yeah.
Saturday. So it was the week after the pre-release.
Yeah, so next
so
week.
people are still showing up for the pre-release.
Yeah. Instead of just watching.
Anyway,
the-
so due to the new podcast, we're trying out some new things.
I'm looking
And
forward to this.
The first big new thing that we're doing every week or every other week, because this is a bi-weekly podcast,
Yeah.
is a quiz where I ask you guys a question and you guys buzz in and try to answer my questions.
And this definitely feeds into my competitive spirit.
yeah,
yeah.
and it doesn't feed into mine, so you're going to win a lot.
Kenneth is very competitive. Åvar knows basically everything about these things.
Yeah, that's
compared to
very, very generous of you.
So I'm thinking if this is very easy for you, just wait a second or two and let him try to get in
Yep.
to answer.
Don't
First
pit-
of all,
Don't pity me.
I pity you
I
very
pity
much.
you
Yeah.
a lot.
Anyway, I want both of you to make your own buzz sounds for buzzing into answering my questions.
Okay, mine will be yeehaw.
Oh, a
Yeehaw.
little bit softer, thank you.
Softer, please.
Yeehaw.
If this mic could pick it up, I would make the sound, but I'm not gonna. So it's just gonna be like boing.
Boing. Yeehaw and
Sounds
boing.
good. Okay, I'm going to read you the first question. And that is, a minotaur has the body of a human, but what animal does it get its head from?
Yeehaw. Ox?
It's correct. But I would say
Yeah,
bull.
I would
Bull.
said boing and said it's a bull.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Isn't ox a bull?
I gave you a couple of seconds there because that one's easy.
Yeah, but isn't
Yeah.
ox bull? Wasn't
By the Greek mythology, it was the child of Zeus mind controlling a woman to have sex with a bull. And they imprisoned it in a maze. And that's kind of fucked up.
But ox is close enough that I got a point.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I would give you that one.
Thank you.
Yeah, I
And-
am giving him that one.
We're gonna keep score of how we do throughout our podcast.
Are we?
Keep score.
Okay, so I'm not gonna give you anything else. Okay, fine, that's fine.
It's competitive.
Okay, fine.
Okay, I'm giving Kenneth 1 point on that one.
Yeah.
And then, okay, since we're doing points, just jump in whenever you want to.
Okay,
Don't
fine.
give him any leeway. Okay, so this is the first time we're doing this, and I'm trying to keep it a little bit easy.
Mm.
So the next one is just as easy, so just jump in as quickly as you can. Which film holds the current box office ranking, current box office takings record? So the most income, so the most sold.
Boing. Endgame? Avengers Endgame?
No,
Yeehaw. Is it a new one that we watched?
no.
Can I ask if it's particularly old or if it's new?
It's slightly older. It's around the no, that's a hint. Okay, I'm gonna say the hint. It's
Yep.
around the time when 3D started becoming popular again.
Boing.
Yeehaw.
Is
Oh,
it
well,
Avatar?
Yeah, I was
It is
thinking
Avatar.
that.
Yeah,
it is
I
Avatar.
didn't suspect that because we've had a lot of movies lately that's like gigantic.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Avengers Endgame is slightly behind.
Oh,
But Avatar had some sort of advertising miracle. That movie just took off.
Because-
yeah, but also to be fair, I watched it in 3D, and it for the time it was fantastic in 3D.
But that movie hit everyone.
Oh yeah,
Kids, children's, parents, geeks.
More or less everyone, yeah, yeah.
everyone.
And the 3D was good, and I think that really helped it
yeah.
sell the movie. But I don't think the movie in itself is that good.
No, it's
It's a mediocre, okay, fine film.
a lot of people discussed this, and it was pointed out to me that did you realize that Avatar the movie is Pocahontas? And it's like, oh my god, it is.
Yep. It's a reskin.
It's a reskin.
But yeah,
of Pocahontas.
it doesn't deserve its top spot.
No.
It didn't even then. But
Not even then. But
It's a good movie, though.
to give it some positive points, it had fantastic 3D for the time. And the CGI was actually quite good.
Yeah.
And the action was actiony.
Actiony. Yeah.
So,
I liked it.
It's a fun
but
movie.
does it deserve a box office top place? No.
Isn't there coming a new one now?
There's
Really?
coming like 6 new ones
Yeah.
that are all in sort of early pre-production. I think one is in during filming now.
Yeah.
I have to say something to that. Ew.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah.
You didn't like
That's
the first one?
because
No, it's a fine movie, but I'd prefer something actually new.
Okay.
yeah, money talks.
Yeah, money
Money
talks.
True. Last question.
Second one probably going to be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Hmm.
So the last question, the third question, is a spaceship question. Which ship made the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs?
Boing.
I didn't even catch the question.
Millennium Falcon.
Yes.
That was the one I had in my head, but I
Mm.
didn't catch the question.
Yeah,
so I
I'm
was
gonna
just like,
I'm gonna repeat it, and I'm gonna ask you the bonus question.
Okay.
Which ship made the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs?
the Castle Run?
Kessel.
Kessel.
Run.
Kessel.
I don't even know what.
Okay, and the bonus question is, why is this a point of contention in the fandom?
Boing. I know this as well. The funny thing is about that is it's defined as parsecs, the traveling. Most people think this when you ask them straight up. They say, "Oh, that's a fast time." No, that crazy bastard Han Solo, he flew dangerously close to a black hole.
Ooh.
The course is that X amount of parsecs. I don't remember how much it is. He flew it shorter than that.
Yeah.
That's very dangerous.
So he shortened the distance. He didn't make it faster. He made it
Shorter.
shorter.
Yeah.
And that's exceptionally cool.
But they do talk about it in the original movies as a
Speed.
time
Yeah, I know.
or speed. Yeah.
But it's been retconned later as
Yeah.
being incorrect.
So that's why people are sort of angry on both sides of this,
Mm.
because it's technically it was wrong at the time,
Yeah.
but it has been retconned to be correct.
Yeah.
The thing I learned
later.
is that this is going to be an uphill battle for me.
Oh,
this quiz.
yeah, it's going to be.
So due to the bonus point, it's now 3 to Åvar and 1 to Kenneth.
Yeah,
Victory.
so it's 1-0 to Åvar going on.
Oh, it's gonna be like that, yeah.
We're not
Nice.
doing for each question. We're doing
No, he won this quiz on
Okay.
this show.
So I won this podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he won the quiz on this podcast.
Sounds fantabulous.
So I'm kind of thinking. Well, you could look at it two ways. I'm kind of thinking that I should be the one doing the quiz because you two have the knowledge. So it would be actually much.
That would be
closer quiz.
probably more fair, I think. But we'll see about
But
that.
The cool thing about doing it this way that I need to study. I need to learn. I need to.
That would be good for you.
Get more knowledge to be able to compete.
The scary thing for Kenneth about these questions are that these are the easiest kind of questions I could come up with.
Yeah, like Minotaur, for example. I know that Tor, not Minotaur, but Tor means half man. Essentially, if you have Tor and like Centaur, meaning centaur, you have a half man, half horse.
Yeah.
And Minotaur means half man, half ox.
He said ox, the same as me.
Bull, ox. It's
same thing.
To be fair, I'm gonna give you this one because ox and bull essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
Because ox does not mean cow.
True. That's why I said ox.
But anyway,
I knew it wasn't that.
victory is
Cow.
mine.
Yeah. So that's gonna be fun. And knowing how competitive I am, I'm most likely gonna
Study a lot.
do a lot of work to be able to beat Åvar. But it's gonna be like if you go like 9-0 versus me, it's gonna be so much more fun
When you win.
when I actually finally win.
This reminds me, I have to point this out because you said that. I've introduced quite a lot of people to Magic the Gathering, actually. And one of them is on the stream, Enevald. The first time he had the opportunity and he took it to win a game, he literally shook the entire man, just like vibrated.
Such a big deal.
Yeah, for him it was a huge deal. For me it was like Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm so happy for him to win. But calm the hell down, man. And I'm
Thought
looking
of.
forward to you winning against me.
Yeah, but the thing I actually thought about, this is a quiz about everything nerdy. So it could be about esports. I know a lot of esports.
Yeah, I'm gonna lose that one.
Exactly. It could be about games I've played.
Oh,
You
yeah.
haven't played. It could be about movies I played. So you know a lot more lore and deep meaning about things you've seen, but there's a lot of things I've seen.
Yeah, so
And done.
for example, if you went into Warhammer 2,
Yeah.
no, sorry, I meant Warcraft 2, I
Yeah.
mean, you would probably win that one.
No, Warcraft 3. Then I will win.
Oh, okay. So Warcraft
Yeah.
3 and esports and remembering names of esports people.
Yeah.
If you have a quiz only of that, you're going to win that one. I can just sit back and not say anything because I'm going to lose that one.
I can promise you 2 things. There will be Warhammer questions,
Mhm.
and there will actually be at least one sports question.
Esports.
Actual sports.
Okay.
Actual sport.
Actual
That
sports.
it's tied in with the nerds some way.
Yeah.
But that's his job then, like to get it as diverse as possible, because it's only like those, call it typical nerd stuff like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, those. It's gonna be like really, well, I don't know what's the word for it, but one way quiz is just gonna be. It's not gonna be a big quiz, diverse quiz, a fun quiz. You know what I mean?
The first one was a test run. He's now going to make it more fair.
Yeah.
I think.
Not really, but
No, well,
I'm gonna make it inclusive,
But broad.
inclusive of all kinds of fandoms.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I believe that sports, all kinds of sports, can also be a fandom, can be
True.
a nerdy thing
True.
if you make it that, and not
Well,
just a jockey.
I would say they can be a geeky thing. Nerdy, yeah.
Well,
By definition of words only, I mean.
There's a lot of sort of like statistics and stuff like that that
Mm.
can be very nerdy in sports.
I'll call myself both a traditional a nerd in the way of board games and computer games and movies and stuff like that, but I'll also call myself a sports nerd because I deeply love sports and I go really have a broad knowledge there.
Yes, and I do not condone.
I do not
condone.
condone.
do not condone sports. No. What my point was that that's called geek, because nerd is the typical gaming, board games, etc. While geek means you're really into a subject.
Yeah, true.
So you're more a sports geek, I would say.
Sure. I'm gonna call myself a sports nerd. I don't know. I don't care if I'm
You're wrong.
He's taking the word back.
I'm taking
To
the word
sports.
back.
No.
Sports is taking nerds.
No.
Talk about sports.
That's our next podcast.
No,
Talk
no,
about
no.
sports, where
Then you can have Benjamin back. Not
where
me.
I'm asking you guys only sports questions.
Oh shit.
Well, esports are sports.
Yeah.
If you,
Oh well, that's a different
if you ask martial arts, I might actually know the answers.
karate.
Karate.
Yeah,
We'll probably get there as well at one
Yeah.
point.
but it was cool testing out the quiz. I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it.
I'm
Yeah.
looking forward
Because
to
I won.
Of course.
It's also interesting to sort of, I'm going to try to do some quizzes that will be very topical
Yeah.
and very interesting for everyone. And it also gives us things to talk about. And I'm going to try to sort of make the quiz sort of inducive of more interesting themes to talk about.
And everyone who's listening could just like go, haha, noob Kenneth, you don't even know that.
Or to be more interactive, you can stop the podcast before we answer the question.
Yeah, and see if you can
answer
answer
it
it yourself.
Yeah, that would be nice.
And also, if you ever hear me or these guys say anything wrong in these quizzes, just pause the podcast, write in the comment sections, and start your comment with, well, actually.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, I don't care.
And
Oh,
we will
okay.
take it up on the podcast
Yeah.
if you correct us in any way.
Two things there. First of all, there's not a comment section on a podcast. There is on the video we upload on YouTube, so you
Yes.
can comment on the YouTube video of our podcast. But if you're listening on Spotify or iTunes or anything like that, you could instead of commenting on the comment section, you could instead
You could either leave a review if your podcasting service actually allows you to do so, or you can send an email to media@nordsandnerds.com.
exactly.
Or, even better, you can go on Nords and Nerds on YouTube and post a comment and watch the video.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Or you can go to Instagram, Twitter, or our Discord page and
Nords and
complain to
Nerds.
us directly on our Discord.
Nords and Nerd everywhere.
Yeah, and you'll find us on Facebook as well, where you can get a link to everything else we have. So if you want to come over to our Discord and talk to us, sure, come on, and we can play some games together as well.
Oh, you know what would be fun?
Hmm?
If we could have a quiz on Discord where listeners are quizzing us.
That's kind of cool. Yeah.
That would be fun.
That would be nice on some time. Yeah. I like it.
And we could do a 12-player Warcraft 3 game.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Come on, people.
You would actually be into that, but I'll be horrible compared to you two.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's just cool.
Especially
with custom games.
Yeah, every custom games in Warcraft 3 is like mini games.
I've played a minute amount of it, and I played the Defense Against Ancient or Defense of the Ancient.
Dota.
Yeah, before it was a thing.
Yeah.
But I didn't know it was a thing until way later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed stuff like that and the mini games and the tower defense and
Sure.
Anyway, the free talk is not the only new thing that we have on the podcast. Åvar, you're bringing your own new content to
I'm
our
bringing
podcast.
in a new thing since I'm a new guy.
I'm
bringing in bad review. Essentially, I read out a bad review of a movie, series, something essentially. And Sindre and Kenneth are going to guess what it is.
So in this one, we don't compete. We instead work together to find out.
I think that would be best because then you can play like onto each other's strengths to get a favorable result. Yeah. So are you ready?
We are ready.
Very much so.
So I'm just going to say this first because I mistakenly said a small hint earlier. This is a movie, just so you both know.
Sounds good.
So the title is Boring. Nothing happens the first 45 minutes. Forrest Whitaker thinks he's in a Shakespearean play. This movie was basically a rip-off of... I'm not going to say that part. Very dull movie, but the sheeple will say they like it because they have been programmed by the media to like whatever you give them. This movie would not have been made 30 years ago. It would have been laughed at or gone straight to VHS. It has no soul, no substance, and no originality. Is the art of filmmaking dead, or is it just about crashing in? This director must share some blame for selling up to Disney.
Okay, so it's a Disney movie.
Yeah, I'm instantly thinking Star Wars, and I can't remember the name of the movie.
Because
Rogue One.
Yeah, because he's saying bad review, and he's saying it's a bad review. If it's a bad, because I don't think it was too bad of a written review. It was just like it was a review actually taking down the movie. But seeing it as a bad review, that means it must be a really cult movie, a good movie, to have this review. And Disney, it needs to be something Star Wars.
It doesn't have to be, but that's the only thing I can remember that Forrest Whitaker has been in. That is also on Disney, but I might not have seen the movie.
Should we test and see if it's Rogue One?
So I'm saying Star Wars, a Star Wars story, Rogue One.
That's your final answer?
Yeah.
God damn it. I made it too easy with the Disney comment.
Yeah.
I actually had it as soon as you said Forrest Whitaker and his...
Really? I have no mental image of his name, but I'm horrible with names. So now, from now on, I know not to include actor names.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Disney part, I realized as I said it, it's like, shit, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah. That sort of nailed it in for me.
The review itself is well written.
Yeah.
The review is not fair.
No, not at all.
Because Rogue One is arguably, I would say, one of the best Star Wars movies made in later time.
It's pretty good.
It's fantastic.
But the way we should do this is you reading, but taking out actor names, directors,
companies. So for the next, to read what I took out, rip-off of episodes 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
And it was the owner, Lucas, whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah. George Lucas.
Yeah, George Lucas essentially sold out.
Yeah.
So
because the thing you could do is just take out those. If we're stuck, you can give us the star actors, the director and stuff like him.
Yeah, I was gonna do that, but I didn't realize that the name of one of the actors was more than enough for Sindre.
I'm pretty proud of
Forrest-
myself. I'm pretty proud of myself for that one.
Yeah, Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker. Who's that?
Which one?
That's the
Is the
guy
main
with
actress?
the lazy eye.
Oh, okay.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, him.
sure.
He's a very good actor, but I don't remember his name.
This one.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
He's
He's
excellent.
playing General something. He's the
Yeah.
leader of the rebels.
Yeah, he's the leader of the rebels in
that one location.
yeah, and in Black Panther he's like the uncle or something like that, and he has X amount of drama movie like nominations for Emmys and whatever the hell. He's very, very, very good
Yeah.
and very renowned. I just don't remember names.
That's pretty fun.
So my bad on that one. A little bit short, but next time I'm gonna make it difficult.
But it could be hard. It could have.
Yeah, because
been
if
hard.
he didn't remember
Yeah.
Forrest Whitaker,
Yeah.
but you did remember like Star Wars because of Disney.
Yeah.
So next time I'm gonna make it
Yeah.
like more bland. But
Mm.
yeah,
True.
I shall endeavor to make it.
But it's
more
not like
difficult.
everyone remembers that the new Star Wars are Disney, for example. So even that could have
Yeah.
turned us off the scent.
But this
So it's,
gives me like a level to go by
yeah,
because
Yeah.
now I know what you like. The level of stuff you know about, and the level of like,
Yeah.
oh, Disney, it has to be Star Wars,
Yeah.
and you're like, Forrest Whitaker, it has to be Rogue One, and it's
Yeah.
like, shit, oh, damn it.
the fun thing here was like when you read it, I was like ready to take notes on everything you said. I was just starting to go through every movie in my head, and like you were almost not even done, and then it was like Rogue One, just like okay, let us talk about it first because I have a lot of movies it could be.
To be fair, like visually, if you're only gonna listen to the podcast, I think my poker face fucked up Sindre
Yeah,
because he was like, I'm not certain because Åvar is not reacting.
Mm.
yeah.
But I was also thinking, like Forrest Whitaker, I was thinking him after you said the monologue thing because he has a good
Mhm.
speech and everything.
But then
this
the
Disney, that just nailed
yeah.
it down for me.
So next time it's gonna be more difficult.
And you can slip us hint if you feel like we're not on the track. You just slip us in
Yeah.
the star actors is this one, the director is that one.
But also when we're able to just nail it down instantly, can also be
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, but
It's fun for me at least.
It's fun for you.
victory for Sindre.
Yeah.
I just realized what the next movie is gonna be.
Ooh, spicy.
Interesting. Probably something I haven't seen.
Possibly.
But yeah, Rogue One is a pretty fun movie. I
It
want to
is.
see that again soon.
Definitely.
I want to do a
should
full like
actually.
Star Wars marathon with all the movies.
Yeah.
That would
That
be
would be
fantastic if
fun.
not for being like a day and a half.
I've
Let's
done.
just do a weekend marathon.
I've
I would be into that.
Yeah, I've done a marathon like every other year with all 6 originals.
Really?
But now that there's a lot more, it's just like
Mm,
I can't do it in
it's
one day.
like if you want to do it properly, like if you do it chronologically, it's
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, Rogue One, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I'm not
Something like that,
mistaken.
something like that.
But if you want to like view it in the nerdiest way possible,
You just drop 4.
you don't watch 1, 2, and 3, and you just watch 4, 5, and 6 and stop.
I'll watch all of
And
them.
Rogue One, to
Yeah.
be fair, Rogue One.
Sure.
But no, it's like all the movies have good points.
Yeah.
Like highlights, and that
Well-
could have not been there, man.
We can all say we wished J.J. Abrams had just made the entire newest trilogy alone and not with what's his face
But,
Johnson.
like as a standalone, 9 is a good movie. Really, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
In the context of 7, 8, 9, no.
Mm.
Because I have a pretty controversial opinion
Hmm?
when it comes to Star Wars.
Yes.
Because I have a favorite character, which is not based on a meme. It's actually based on what I actually believe is the best character and the character I enjoyed the most.
And that is.
Misa.
Yeah, I thought so. You
Yeah.
filthy animal.
And I
So let's go over to the
no,
next
no,
part.
wait. I don't actually grasp why people hate Jar Jar Binks. I think it's an amazing character. It's a character that changes the pace of the movies. It's a character that does a lot for the whole franchise.
I think it's partially about the thing that for me, when the movies came out and Jar Jar Binks arrived on the screen, I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And he was just exceptionally annoying. That's
Maybe,
it.
Maybe.
As like his role in the movies is the comic relief. That is his point.
True.
He's not important for the story, really. The way they meet the Gungans could have been in any other way. It didn't really matter for Jar Jar to be there.
I agree.
For the role he's cast as, the comic relief, the like light-hearted, kind of an unintentionally funny character, he does that.
Yeah.
And that's, he does it quite well, actually. But I think the point is, people weren't expecting that from Star Wars. Because in the original movies, which are 4, 5, and 6, there was no such, like, at least not on that level. Han Solo was funny, charming,
R2D2.
a rogue. R2D2 was
And
funny, but he
C-3PO.
was funny in a like proper Englishman way, and it was a different kind of comedy, and it was an older kind of humor, and the newer humor, which was Jar Jar Binks, was so jarring compared to what you were expecting. Of course, you probably hadn't watched 4, 5, and 6 first.
Yeah.
You had,
and
you still liked him.
I still liked Jar Jar Binks because Jar Jar
Interesting.
Binks was a different pace. And the role, I also thought that he was annoying, but he was annoying in a good way, and it was not just annoying like fuck this guy, I just want him out of here. He was just like, oh, damn, he's annoying. I hope he dies. He just played that really well.
Yes.
And that made the whole movies even better for me. Okay, 1, 2, and 3 is not that good movies, but the movies got better because of Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
But it's become like this cult thing to hate Jar Jar Binks, and I don't understand why it's just so big. It's okay to not like a character, and it's okay to like a character, but why is such a big hate towards him? I just
For
don't
me,
understand.
it's sort of, he symbolizes what's wrong with the sort of
Newer.
the prequel trilogy,
Yeah.
and he's sort of a bastardization of sort of the epic space opera sort of style that Star Wars used or has. Even the prequel trilogy has that style and that feeling. But sort of every scene with Jar Jar Binks, especially the ones where he go a little bit over the top,
It's so
It's sort of-
mundane suddenly.
yeah, it sort of ruins the epic scale of the movies.
So it's more basically like people don't like the new trilogy, and therefore Jar Jar Binks has become the scapegoat for that hate of those
I
movies.
suspect a lot of the hate is because of that. Because they didn't like the new movies. They focused all the hate on one character.
Yeah.
I think I was like 7 years old or so when when I watched the first Star Wars the first time, and then I enjoyed Jar Jar Binks because that was the first Star Wars movie I watched. Jar Jar Binks was funny. I was young, but I'm like, I like him less and less
As you
over
get
time,
older,
and as I watch the other movies, and as I see it, the whole series in sort of
Bigger
its
picture.
own perspective. But Jar Jar Binks in sort of maybe a funny, cartoonish animated series.
Jar Jar Binks,
Maybe.
like Jar Jar Binks, the character is like SpongeBob SquarePants. He is like the funny, gangly, too long arms, too long legs, and too long tongue. So he's a very comic-y character.
He could have worked well as a one scene, one take kind of character, like a
They
funny
could-
scene.
They could have had him in like 15 minutes on
Yeah.
screen maximum.
But especially
it's a little bit too much.
especially the part when he's ruining the pod racer.
Yeah, that was unnecessary.
He sort of creates a big thing in the movies that is just not necessary.
Yeah, they played him a little bit big for what the role was.
Him saying that he likes him less and less, because
You like him more and more.
I like him more and more.
That's just the difference for us too.
and I like him especially more after there came out theories about him being a Dark Lord.
Yeah, I actually after I read that, the like theory, the conspiracy theory that Jar Jar Binks is actually a Sith Lord because he has yellow eyes.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed that because that would have made him hugely interesting, just by the simple fact that he's able and he can suppress his own ego as a Sith enough to be this stupid bastard,
And
like
if you
with Sith around him.
if you read a lot of those theories, a lot of times and then go back and watch the movies, they make a lot of sense.
I know.
I've
rewound the scenes in my head after reading that, and it's like, that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah. Especially if when he goes into his hometown or wherever he's from, and you see everyone's just hell afraid of him, and not afraid of him. Just like in the movie, you feel like they're just afraid of him because he ruins things and it's like clumsy and break a glass because of something and stuff like that. You see, it looks more like when you watch it again, it looks more like
Genuine
real fear.
I can't say I saw the same thing, but I saw more of the disgust of his like presence, and that is because he's a clumsy guy. He breaks things, he ruins things, and the fear is there. But I observed it more as like the fear of him. Oh shit, he's coming towards me. I get all my valuables away from him.
Everything goes bad.
I see it more as I don't want to be associated with this clumsy reject.
Yeah, kind of a Donald Duck. Just unlucky, and for that reason, disliked.
But if you go back and watch the movie and already made a conclusion that they really actually genuinely fear him, you'll actually see that.
But then I think that influences your perception of the movie. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I don't completely agree, but that would be awesome.
Yeah, it would be.
Okay, so now we're getting to the point of this episode where we usually talk about a game we've played and review it. Because every other week we are not doing a podcast, we're doing game nights.
Yeah.
Where the three of us and sometimes other people will be playing board games, filming it and editing it and putting it out on YouTube, where you can see us play games. And then on the subsequent episode of the podcast, we'll be talking about it, reviewing it. All three of us will be giving it a rating because we have our own rating system, which is a rating system that we have developed while doing the previous podcast that we did, and we're going to be continuing doing the same sort of rating system.
Yep.
So I'm just going to read up the ratings that we're going to be rating these games as, but we will not be using it before next week. But the interesting thing is...
Not next week, next podcast.
Next podcast,
yes.
2 weeks.
So 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
And I'll be starting at the top. The top position is 10. Perfect. Then we go down to 9, which is always bring it along. So this is a game you always bring along when you're invited to play games with your friends. And then you have 8, which is a very good game. Just an all-around good game. Then you have 7, which is a recommended game. So it's a game that you might not bring along all the time, but it's a game that you would recommend to your friends to buy or to play. 6 is you'd play it again, but it's not something that you would recommend, or it's not something that you will be telling your friends that we are playing this. But if someone else says it, you'll play it again. Definitely.
So it's like, have you played any new games lately? Yeah, this one.
Yeah. And then you have 5, it's okay. We don't need to say more about that one. And then you have 4, not recommended. That's a game that you can play it, but you wouldn't recommend it to anyone. You don't want people to spend money on that game. 3 is a game you will not play again. So it's a game you will definitely not play again. And if someone tries to get you to play it, you will hate them. You will say no, you will walk away, you won't play that game. 2, this one has a more of an active element, which is stay away. And you will tell all your friends to stay away from this game.
So Monopoly.
No. 1 is Monopoly.
That's number 1.
That is number 1.
Fair enough.
So if a game is as bad as Monopoly, it gets the rating 1.
Yes, sir.
So this is the rating system that we will always use. We will be putting our ratings into an Excel sheet, and this Excel sheet will always be in the description of our videos. So everyone can go and see what we rate games as, and they can compare what they think compared to what we say. And the average will also be calculated for every game that we rate on the podcast.
Yep.
We will also be sometimes rating games that we haven't played on the game night, but that we've been talking about during the podcast that we feel that we would like to put a rating on. So say you play a game on Saturday and you want to talk about it on the podcast, you can also give it a rating.
We pick a random game out of a list of 139 games. That list goes down after we have picked new games, but we also keep adding games to the list, games that we want to play. These are basically our board games that we own ourselves, our private collection of board games. Seeing as we are Board Game Geeks, we have a lot of games. So we have got 139 in that list.
Yeah, and
We have
also,
even more, but they're not in this list for different reasons.
Yeah, and since you can't say this yourself, but this is also part of our sponsorship with Victory Point that allows us to play more games than we would normally have available.
Exactly.
Due to their own library of games that you can rent at the store.
Yes. Should we just get into it and pick a game?
I definitely want
What
to
did you
start
say?
this.
Well, before we go into pick a game, we can go through a couple of games we have just to say like what we
Some
have
of
in
the
the-
available
yes,
options.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have like Nemesis as a big AAA name, a game that's pretty big.
I think I've watched that once.
Yeah,
I haven't played it
It's a
yet.
space survival game.
That's a
Yeah.
game Kenneth really wants to play,
Yes.
and he's even painted the miniatures.
Yeah.
Oh,
in
that
game.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put out a post on Twitter the other days asking people for what games they want to see us play. So if you want to see a particular game played, just head over to our Twitter account and comment underneath there. I took the liberty of commenting myself a game I really want to play, and that is Spartacus: Blood and Sand,
Have that.
which is
Spartacus.
a board game based on the TV show Spartacus.
Yeah.
And it's a game I've played quite a few times. It's my own game,
Yeah.
but I really want to just play it on the podcast. And
What other
about
I'm
it.
into that.
what other big games do you have?
we have so many. We have Dungeon Run. Oh, that's a fun
Yeah,
game.
that's
I've
good.
played it a few times. We have a game called The Great City of Rome.
Ooh.
We have Snowtime, Jungle Speed. We have Machikoro, which is a fun game. We have Smash Up, which is always fun.
I like
That's
that
cool.
one.
That's the first game I bought when you guys started the store here. We have Pitch Car Mini.
Ooh, that's fun.
They're actually, I think this weekend is Spilorama, which is a big game board convention in Stavanger.
Yeah.
And they're always playing Pitch Car as a tournament sort of game,
Yeah.
which is always pretty fun.
Hmm.
But anyway, should I just hit the big green button to see what game we're playing next week? I'm not going to pick Nemesis.
Smash up.
Let us go.
It's going. And we're playing
Ooh,
Imperial
yeah.
Settlers.
That's a big game.
I have
That's a
never played it
well-known
before.
game.
Okay.
So
I
it's
haven't
gonna
heard about it, so I can't comment.
be- that's a fun game, and we're not gonna talk too much about it now because that's gonna.
That's the point of the next
yeah.
podcast.
So we're gonna film it next week.
Mhm.
Put up a video game night with it, and then we're gonna talk about it, explain it, and rate it.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
pretty fun.
And that will only be available on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then the podcast that will be coming out straight after that game night episode, we'll be talking about the game, reviewing it, and selecting the next game.
Yes, sir. Because we have a bi-weekly podcast, we're never gonna run out of games. We'll have enough games to definitely
Probably.
get a new one every week. We do that. All right.
Yeah, that's never a problem. Very much looking forward to playing that game. I'm very much looking forward to all our future episodes of Talk About Nerds. And so thank you everyone for listening. I hope you come back next week for our game night. And if you have any comments or questions, you can always comment on YouTube, leave a review on any podcasting service you have, or send an email to media@nordsandnerds.com. And so thank you all. We'll see you again later.
Bye bye.